gentlemen, welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm 2016. My name is Cloaken, and sitting next to me, Trikslyr. We're back. I spoke out of turn. I don't know what I was thinking in that last segment. I said we weren't going to be back till next week, but we're back again.
It's a surprise for you guys. We are back, and we're back with another awesome match already. Kevin, are you excited for this? It's going to be Texas Tech versus Washington.
Tim, this is the most storied, well, I wouldn't say the most. I think the Cal upset yesterday was a really, really big deal, but we cannot understate the upset that we experienced yesterday when Texas Tech took out the #1 seed in the North in their bracket. They were the number 16th, right?
Yeah.
They did it. Upset City. And we're about to talk about that. I know you've had a chance to take a look at these games. Texas Tech, Billy Goat Gruff.
Yeah.
Billy Goat Gruff. I can get that right.
Billy Goat Gruff is their team name, but of course they're from Texas Tech, and we wanted to find out how exactly they won the battleground yesterday against Waterloo, because I mentioned by Kevin, Waterloo was originally the #1 seed, and in fact, when the game started out, Waterloo was looking like a team that was ready to dismantle anyone in their way. In fact, we saw a lot of highlights in the very, very beginning where they were just absolutely dominating in team fights, especially in the mid-game. You see a straight Texas Tech engage for that mosh pit for ETC. Devouring Maul cancels that puppy, and we see a huge kill-off happen here as well. And Texas Tech is just getting obliterated left and right. In fact, there was another fight that happened around the middle of the map, around the boss itself, and they did get a decent Ring of Frost, but again, another Maul.
Yeah,
catches Texas Tech out of the way. But suddenly, someone said a motivational speech or something, because Texas Tech found their keyboards and started bringing aggression here in the top lane, picking off one member as well as his second, and Li Ming started getting those resets and really started working out. But Kevin, don't call it a comeback quite yet. They're still in the late game. There's a lot of infrastructure available for Waterloo. But Texas Tech, they just keep coming. They keep bringing the aggression. They get into a few more fights over the bottom shrines down here on the bottom left. Li Ming helping out in the fights, doing whatever she can to really make sure Texas Tech can start fighting back. And after getting 1, 2, almost 3 kills, another kill coming in as well, we start to see Texas Tech with the opportunity to maybe keep on pushing and eventually grab a keep. There we go. Zul falling down. 4 members down for Waterloo. You see Texas Tech all moving down here on the bottom left, but Johanna sneaks down to the south temple here, starts shelling away on the core, and it looks like it might just be game, but wait a minute. Adjana sneaks by, drops Ice Block, and buys just enough time for Texas Tech to take the game back and go up 1-0. And they took that momentum.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, what a crazy base race. Like, that's super weird, and then held off by an ability like Ice Block.
Well,
like, who would have even expected that? That was even game 1, though.
Ridiculous, right? Well, we go to game number 2, and suddenly Zeratul just starts showing up for Texas Tech, as ETC's mosh pits, the Mighty Gust, are just too much, and Texas Tech takes its momentum and rides it into game number 2, winning as much as they can. Here's one team fight that was great. Here's another wonderful team fight for them as well. Falstad was on point. Their ETC was great as well. And again, they got Li Ming. Today, if you're playing against Texas Tech, you need to get rid of Li Ming.
Yeah.
They are hitting so many skill shots. Here's a massive Void Prism. We're going to see a mosh pit go down. Johanna does sneak away and tries to help disrupt it, but it's just a little bit too late as a team just comes around and really just engulfs the opposing Waterloo and takes them out, grabs a lead. And then we also have one more really, really cool fight after this that I was pretty impressed by. The Mighty Gust to push everyone into a mosh pit. Grab a few members as well. Zul tried to help his teammates with a few mages, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough, and Texas Tech took the series 2-0. They will be playing today, and you can really see why they got away with it, man. Once they got a little momentum underneath them, there's a team that just can really demoralize their opponents and just go in and win.
Wow, so this space between the pre-qualifying rounds and this bracket play, I mean, I'm assuming Texas Tech just like sat down at their computers, ordered takeout, buckled down, and just started practicing. I mean, how can you beat a team like this while being so seated so far below? I mean, that they've clearly practiced. They've clearly been buckling down before this bracket play, and it shows. Yeah,
it's got to come down to the practice, man. And again, when it comes to any day in Heroes of the Storm, anyone can make a comeback if you make the right plays there. And the plays were made by Texas Tech. Now, can they do it against the team that's coming up next? Washington. Washington yesterday was looking fantastic. They beat Temple pretty handedly.
Yeah, and you know what I love about that game 1? It's like at all costs, using every single button we possibly can find in our arsenal to pull out a win, we're going to do it. And then the awareness to do it, right? To know that, like, I can hold this off. We're in trouble, but send Jaina to use Ice Block to give us, like, 2 seconds?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's awareness, too, because she was actually pushing in the bottom lane, moving in towards the keep to help win the game. And then she realized, wait a minute, Johanna is moving towards a win. And if we don't stop this, we're going to lose. All right, team, you guys push. I got this.
Yeah.
The confidence, the plays that happen. Texas Tech, can they bring it into Sunday? We will see.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to the game today. Of course, Billy Gruff, great team. We saw some incredible play. This is them, Texas Tech University. And that incredible Zeratul play we saw in Game 2, that was from Takedown on the right. We're going to need to keep our eyes on this guy. He loves to play those powerful heroes, Zeratul, Jaina. We also saw the Li Ming play out of Aloe. That guy is going to be sharp too, so keep your eyes on him. Solid team here. Let's look over on the other side, the Washington Hot Dogs.
Let's check out Washington. Washington, we watched them yesterday against Temple, and they played pretty darn well. What I liked was their adaptability, as we saw iShiny and the rest of the team really work together and make something happen. Terror also was someone that I was a little bit surprised by. I saw some great ancestral healings from him on that Rhaegar when he was playing support. I believe we saw him on Assassin in game number 2, and it wasn't as powerful, but still, he got the job done. This roster is really coming together. They're working on making sure that they can do one thing well, and that's win team fights. They're not forcing any crazy objectives. They're not going too crazy in terms of strategy when it comes to locking down maybe a shrine or an altar. What they're saying is get into a team fight, win it handedly, and then we'll deal with objectives afterward.
Love it. Well, let's jump into draft right now. Cursed Hollow going to be our first battleground like we've seen all day. Let's see how these teams decide to pair off against one another. I'm sure Washington took a look at the games from Texas Tech, and there you see, right off the bat, we saw that Zeratul play in Game 2. We're not going to deal with it. Zeratul getting banned out, followed up by a ban on Zagara. It looks like Texas Tech also watched Washington's play. They had the sickest Devouring Maw in their second game yesterday. It was incredible. They got 4 men caught up in that. It turned a tide for them in a major team fight on Dragonshire as well. So Zagara getting taken out is a very smart move on their part. Washington picking up Thrall. You know, you ban out a good laner like Zagara. We're going to pick up the other good ones, one of the other options, and that's Thrall. We've seen him have incredible value, not just in lane, but also with his heroic Sundering. He's just been wrecking teams.
It's a good snipe, too, because Texas Tech has played a lot of Thrall as well. Jaina and Toronto were their most played heroes as well, aside from Thrall, but we now see Li Ming and Falstad being grabbed up for Texas Tech. After seeing that performance yesterday on both those battlegrounds against Waterloo, yeah. Get some Li Ming in this action.
Absolutely. Probably going to see Aloe on that Li Ming. And here we see Washington responding with Tassadar and Muradin. Very cool. Tassadar, a powerful hero, set him up in mid lane, get all that extended vision from him, as well as the bonus shields. He's a solid support. I would be shocked if they go all in on a single support Tassadar. We've seen it. It's not impossible, but we'll check it out.
We're starting to see teams kind of adapt to Li Ming a little bit and grab double supports. It seems like they want Tassadar over Rhaegar, so they're always grabbing and to see a first pick Li Ming, Tassadar around the second or third pick, because they don't want to get banned out, because Tassadar is probably one of the easier heroes to ban out when you know that you have Li Ming and you're not one to face against double support, because the shields are so powerful. So Washington making an adaptation here and grabbing that Tassadar, and I'd imagine we're going to see another healer after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Taronda banned out by Texas Tech. Also Sonya there on the Washington side. And then we see the pickups. Rhaegar, Zul for Texas Tech. Solid pickups there. Of course, Rhaegar, we've seen value from him all day, not just from Ancestral Heal, but also his additional damage, his storm shields, those kinds of things, and his totems. Indeed, they can just gum up team fights and work really well for everybody. And Zul, we know, he's the newest hero in our roster right now. So much lane presence, so much ability to use Lockdown with Bone Prison. You sync that up with some other stuns on your team, and you can really control team fights or basically get kills, picks off of the opponents. Vala Uther here on the side of Washington.
All right, so they are running the double support here, and they're going to try and deal with Li Ming. Zul will probably be the big hero for us in this game, as we're going to be seeing what he can do. He's actually kind of a pseudo-tank whenever he does have his bone armor available to him. We will need another tank for Texas Tech, and actually there is one Diablo. So now they have the engage, they have the follow-up with the totem from Rhaegar to slow, and they have the lockdown here from the Zul. So in terms of control, Texas Tech has it. However, on the other side, we do have a team that can sustain and live through a lot of damage that comes their way if they're playing properly. So again, we're going to kind of have that tug of war that we saw earlier with Illinois, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're out there, you saw the draft, we want to hear your opinion. Who do you think is going to take this game 1 on Cursed Hollow? Is it Texas Tech, the incredible upset, ranked 16 seed? Are they going to do it again here with Washington Hot Dogs? Probably their hardest team that they've fought to date. Will they take it? Go over there, hashtag Heroes of the Dorm, vote for your favorite team. We want to see your thoughts. We'll check out the results in game. Let's jump into it. Let's not waste any more time. Game 1 here, round of 32. Both of these teams wanting to get a spot in that coveted round of 16. We're going to see how this plays out. And you know what? We're seeing the triple assassin on the side of Washington, or assassin, excuse me, triple melee on the side of Washington going into Zul. Will we see Poison Nova? Will they go that route, or will we see more control play coming out of the heroic pick for Zool with the Spectral Mages? We will find out shortly.
We will see. Washington on the far right side here. Shogun, Shiny, Sharsnik, Terra, and of course Shoyu, I believe, down on the bottom right. This is a interesting story for me. You have Washington, who is a team in 2015 that played so well, just kind of floated under the radar until we finally saw them. And then yesterday, you know, it's my commitment to this team that I'm going to pay attention to them because they really know how to play and adapt. Where you have Texas Tech, who mentioned right before in the pregame lobby, they mentioned no one picked us to win. We have to kind of prove ourselves that we are actually a great team. And so doing that here, beating Washington, could really set themselves up and propel them to be a team that people will keep an eye on.
And you know what? That can be such a driving force, that alone, to just say, we're underrated, people don't know who we are, but we're going to really show people up right now. It kind of frees you up, you know? It almost gives you that grace, the freedom of failing, which actually is kind of a reverse thing, and not just, it gives you that opportunity to just succeed even more. So really excited to see what happens here. Of course, interesting side fact, Washington has two brothers, Oshogun, Oshoyu. They're actually twins, going to school together and of course playing on this team together. So really cool side story there for Washington. Can't underestimate the power of family.
That you cannot. Pleb Joe and Sharsnik in the middle lane is going at it. Support war for the ages, if you will. We do have Takedown, though, coming around looking to land a Bone Prison on Sharsnik, but with the Dimensional Shift, we will see Tassadar retreat. And, you know, this bottom lane is one that I'm going to keep an eye on just because of Li Ming here with Aloe. Aloe played such a sick Li Ming in the yesterday game. It was really kind of instrumental into that comeback that we saw in game number 1. Also, because he has an awesome skin. I love that Star Princess one. Shiny in trouble, though, is going to be getting picked off with Diablo running in, but in the bottom lane, Li Ming is in trouble as well. She does get stoned, and a trade 1-for-1.
Yeah, absolutely. 1-for-1 trade here in the early game. Doesn't ever feel good to get tossed around by the Lord of Terror. I got to keep an eye on it, but these kills, they matter, but it's 1-for-1. It's mostly more of a morale thing right now as we're in the early game. We're going to see both teams get back on their feet, you know, get back into this game. As we move later, those death timers increase, so kills become much more significant, but each team just kind of filling each other out right now, getting experience and prepping for the spawn of these tributes, and of course, that is the central mechanic here on Cursed Hollow. We've been seeing it all day. If you collect 3, you curse your opponent, so we'll watch them strategize around that. Will they go for the aggressive first tribute, or will they hold off, soak experience in lane, and then plan to make an aggressive attempt on the following tributes and prevent their opponents from getting the curse?
Yeah, I'm imagining both teams will be going for the first tribute. We've already just seen the aggression from both teams coming out. These seem to be teams that have similar mindsets. Get in the middle of team fights, win them. If you win them, then grab the objective and move from there. So let's keep an eye on Diablo. He'll be the main indicator of whether or not we'll be seeing a rotation here for Texas Tech, while also Murden on the minimap will be a good indication here for Washington.
Interesting to see on the talent selection for Vala. A little bit of a mix of the multi-shot here. Ooh, Vala getting tossed around by Diablo, but with the vault, she is able to get to safety and pull back. A Shogun just still waiting in, trying to zone out Texas Tech. But as I was saying, Vala with the sort of a hybrid, not all in on multi-shot, still relying on the auto attacks, amping them up a little bit with their talents.
Yeah, the level 4 talent and level 13 talent and Giant Killer kind of mix together pretty nicely, so they can get rid of Diablo really quickly. Diablo has this thing where he kind of just goes in, throws somebody behind him, and they hope that his teammates can kill him, right? So Vala will be in a scenario where she most likely will be able to work in those auto attacks. So that talent pick level 4 is probably just a reaction to Diablo being a part of this.
Yeah, I got to get rid of that guy. Big health pool on him, so the more you can amplify your damage against that, it's going to work to your advantage. Right now, 6-6, even XP gain. First tribute went the way of Texas Tech. Washington, of course, not in too big of a dire strait right now. Ooh, there goes the Bone Prison on Oshoyu. Oh, and followed up with the Shadow Charge Overpower, but not able to secure a kill, just getting some additional damage. Super boss guy, half health, probably going to start considering either backing or tapping the well right now. In fact, he does. Looks like he goes back to get that sippy cup, so to speak.
Well, talking about builds, looking at Falstad, we actually see Vampiric Assault as well as Season Marksman here for Falstad, which means he's going for more of an auto attack heavy type of build, which will allow for him to actually help sustain these fights and do more damage. Usually with the Q build against level support, you're not going to really get the value out of it that you want. So him going for this auto attack build allows for him to kind of work in auto attacks while trying to help out with his abilities.
Here we see Washington setting up camp here on this tribute. They do not want to continue to let it roll in the favor of Texas Tech. Super boss guy just wading in deep, getting it, disrupting, being the Diablo that he needs to be. Terror taking a lot of damage and getting the lockdown from Bone Prison. So much damage going on him. He's got to fall back. That is the support here for Washington. They can't lose him in this fight right now. Eye Shiny as well. trying to hold down that tribute. They're zoning out, getting the channel. They're going to have to stop it if they want to let it go, but the health bars are falling really low on the side of Texas Tech.
Yeah, somehow Uther did survive through there. It looks like Aloe didn't want to go for the all-in with Calamity there and try and get the damage on top of him, and now Terra comes back with a heal and a tap fountain, and now Zool will be falling out, and that's kind of a prime example of how this double support comp can work out. If you do not kill a support, he will come back after his cooldowns are reset and help out with the healing, and he saw that Texas Tech just eventually got burned down.
Look at that vote. Oh man, Falstad getting jumped on there in the bottom lane. Look at that vote, Tim.
Poor
96%.
TTU.
Oh man, these guys are just... Why aren't people diving them?
I need to send a tweet
get
really
on Twitter
quick
right
here.
now.
I need to get this fixed. What is going on, man?
Did you guys? Did you not see the highlight package from yesterday?
As they're kind of getting beat down in
Yeah,
the middle of
I
these team fights. But yeah, come on, guys. These are the 16th seed. They have made an upset. Give them a little bit of love. I would love to see at least 10%, but Washington and Texas Tech still going at it. Super Bus Guy, a little trouble. Shogun, though, showing up with the Stormbolt. However, no follow-up there. That was kind of a risky pull there for Shogun, just because there's nothing really for him to follow up there with a Tassadar and Uther. Those aren't damage dealers.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, one thing I do want to point out about Zool, he has the ability to counteract the auto attack damage coming out of Vala if he can get his Spectral Scythe doing the debuff there on her. So if he can get in range, which is going to be tough for him, but if there is an opportunity, you will see him doing that on Vala to cut down her damage if at all possible. But, you know, she's a slippery opponent, very, very mobile. Her vault, her ability to move around, strafe, get out of sticky situations will work to her advantage.
All right, well, Washington is moving towards level 10 here, and they are very, very close. You'll see them soak the experience they can. Aloe's going to try and force a fight here. Shogun does take a lot of damage, but that is a murder, and that is at half health now. He'll have to walk back and tap the well. Texas Tech probably doesn't want to engage this. However, Zool might attempt to sneak it. No, he decides to pull back. I think that is the correct play here. You just don't want to deal with Washington right now when they have that firepower available to them.
Yeah, Washington did just turn the corner on level 10. They are picking up their second tribute on the road to level 3. So stakes getting higher and higher for Texas Tech. They're going to have to interrupt this before the next tribute spawn if they want to ensure that they do not get cursed in this early game. They also have hit level 10, though. They're taking a look at heroic talents. Let's check out what they got. Most of this looks pretty familiar, pretty similar to what we've seen. We are seeing Zool pick up Poison Nova for the extra damage, the damage value in these fights. Whoa, so much damage on Aloe. Nice job on them trying to get that stun. Apocalypse has to go out just to kind of regroup for Texas Tech. Nice call on them to keep all of their heroes of the game.
Super Boss Boy saved that Li Ming just by going in for the charge and knocking back Eye Shiny, which would have been the damage to secure that takedown. I like the aggression, though. He walked in and said, Sun Ring, kill Li Ming. We win this fight. So you see Washington, you can see where their targets are kind of lined on.
For sure. Right now, here we see Washington picking up these Merc camps in the bottom right. Blue team, Texas Tech as well, rotating to the top. Tassadar here just soaking experience in the top lane. They don't want to forget that portion of the game. Got to keep continuing to stay in it with the XP gain right now. Of course, Tassadar really solid at holding down lanes. We're seeing the tribute spawn here in the bottom left. This is the curse point right now for Washington. They're going to have to hold this off or experience a curse. It would not work well for them to take a curse. They are a little bit behind momentum-wise in this game, and here we see Diablo just getting pummeled right now. Oshogun taking damage in return from the Disintegrate. There goes the Overpower and the Shadow Charge from Diablo. Ancestral Healing goes down on Diablo. There goes the D-Shield on Muradin. He backs out. No one falling just yet. Blue team in a better position to kind of zone right now around this tribute. And Washington not quite ready to give it up at this point.
Pleb Joe being more king-like here as he helps out Super Boss Guy and make sure that his Diablo is not taking on that fight. Texas Tech will now grab that tribute as mentioned by Kevin here. But I just want to go back to that Poison Nova pick. It's going to work out really, really well for Texas Tech as we go towards the mid-game just because of Uther, Muradin, and Thrall being three melees that want to get it up close and cause those fights. So you're going to see Washington probably poise a little bit more and try and bait out that Poison Nova before they go in a hard engage.
For sure, and I want to we talk about double support constantly, and of course we are seeing that on the side of Washington, but Tassadar is not a healer. He is someone who will provide shields, and those are really proactive sense sort of healings. Sure, they negate some damage, but when Zool gets Poison Nova down, it's basically just a wealth of damage that's taking over time. And you know, shields do help to some degree, but it's not the same as just direct sustain. So here we go. Oshogun taking an aggressive Dwarf Toss here on takedown, just trying to push them back. They're continuing to soak experience in lane. Both of them on even footing in terms of that part of this game, and structurally as well, in a very similar standpoint.
You see the Bone Prison going in on Murden here. APOC will be followed up. That's actually a very clever combo. Poison Nova goes down, but there is just a little bit too much robustness here available for Washington. The Strafe comes in, hitting 2 to 3 members. Shoyu trying to help out as well. Takedown really helping his teammate. Gonna get hit though by iShiny, and 2 members were taken down there for Texas Tech. Diablo did respawn, but Aloe going in for the return here.
iShiny with the jukes on Disintegrate. You could see Leeming just unable to line up pure continuous damage on him. Diamond Neil probably shouldn't flirt with danger here, though, you know, Tassadar not known for his ultimate burst damage. He can kind of hang out here and try to just prevent this tribute, but with the additional help of Terra and Oishoyu, he is going to disengage with Mighty Gust and turn this one over to the Hot Dogs. They're going to push right now with the Curse. This is a big one. Of course, here's the quick look at the Apocalypse, followed up with the Sundering from Thrall. The damage from Poison Nova just so big. Diablo falls. Of course, his trait going to allow him to get back in this fight as a result really quickly. So let's get back to the game right now. We want to see exactly how the Curse is being maximized here by Washington. And of course, we're just seeing them in the top lane start to put some pressure. Pleb Joe there. Oh, nice charge there by Oishoyu. Oh, here comes the Disintegrate with the damage. They're pushing them back. Dwarf Toss coming out by Ashogun. Have to get back for safety. Nice defense there by Texas Tech.
Yeah, Washington thought they had an engagement that was available to them, but Texas Tech just turned around. So nope, took out 1 member. Vala was destroyed immediately here. And I do want to go back that Vala actually did not pick Giant Killer at level 13. She did pick the slow on her multi-shot build here, which means that really the entire synergy must be felt really, really strong here for Washington between Tassadar and Vala. Tassadar actually picked up a level 4 talent that gives you Leech Plasma. Whenever a shield is on Vala, she will be getting Lifesteal out of that. So she did have to pick up Vampiric Assault. Instead, she just picks up an auto attack ability that helps her out. So you see a slight synergy there that apparently the Washington Hot Dogs really agree with.
Yeah, interesting talent selection there indeed for Vala. Right now, we're seeing this bottom lane really pushed out by Washington, and of course, that is a result of the Curse. The fact that these minions have been able to group up and stack up. Tons of experience here. Diamond Neil knows it. He's going to clean it up. Meanwhile, Washington turning their attention to their boss, continuing to build on their advantage that they got following that Curse. Nice move by them, and of course, Texas Tech trying to do the best they can to stay in it, adding pressure from their Merc camps on their side.
Well, the boss being on the top right corner, and Washington just now revealed that as the boss did get picked up, and now they're going to start heading down the bottom left corner. You do see Texas Tech trying to put everything they have into grabbing this boss, but we already see Washington is on the way. A Clairvoyance will reveal that the team is on the way. Watch out for Sundering here. The Mighty Gust does push back just in time, though, to not even give Washington a chance to disrupt that.
Yeah, nice job by them just to get the time they needed to secure that boss cap right now. And of course, the boss in the top lane working away on that fort. And here's the boss in the bottom lane going to add additional pressure for Texas Tech while they continue to try to bring the momentum into their favor. But Washington on top of it, going to address this boss very, very quickly. Meanwhile, Texas Tech is doing the exact same thing in the top lane with this boss.
Clearing up a bit of a trade here for both teams. They now start to gear up for level 16. And it looks like we're relatively even in this game. I do realize that we have a fort missing in the bottom left for Texas Tech, but at this stage in the game, it's not a big deal, especially with Falstad being available here. He can clear up that bottom lane at all points. In fact, that's been his job the entire game. The other 4 teammates have actually been rolling around a lot for Texas Tech, grabbing whatever infrastructure they can, also grabbing a majority of the mercenary camps.
All right, so we're seeing both of these teams on pretty even footing this game right now. They're both turning over the corner into the power spike at level 16. What's going to spell the difference here in the late game, Tim? What do you think the strategy needs to occur for either of these teams to get a leg up?
Well, I would like to see a team fight. We have yet to have a major team fight. It's been a lot of rotations, and now they have the tools to do so, especially Washington here, as they can get a force wall and really get an engagement in. But gotta be careful, gotta play around that Diablo, because if anyone's squishy, like Vala Thrall gets picked off, you're gonna see a Leeming combo from her the orb into the Disintegrate, and it will burn down a majority of opponents.
Picking up vision here for Washington in the top right corner. Nice job by them to just, again, get vision advantage in that corner. Blue team clearing out minions and pushing with their mercenary camp here in the mid lane. We might see an engagement here, especially around this tribute.
It's going to be around a bush. If there's any type of engagement happening, it's Mizul actually sitting in a bush, or actually the bottom right corner, they do go back. They look like they were rotating, but here goes a Bone Prison, and it is on Murden. And it's interesting because Texas Tech keeps putting Bone Prison on Murden. It looks like they just want Murden to jump away. Because if Murden jumps away, that's a 1 engagement. Even though you don't get the kill, you get him away from the fight, which allows for Falstad and Li Ming to put their abilities where they want them instead of into Murden.
Yeah, it is an interesting choice. We did see Uther pick up Cleanse, so we're going to be looking for that to have an even continued effect on getting those Bone Prisons cleared off of his teammates. But here's the curse for Texas Tech. They are able to get this top fort down definitely with this curse right now, and we'll see exactly how far they can push their opportunities with this advantage. Is Washington going to go all in right now? They have most of their heroics up. Sundering, a huge one, is on cooldown. There's the phase shift from Sharsnik as he pulls back. They're just trying to hold them at bay right now.
Yeah, the Bone Prison does go down once again. There's an APOC follow-up to actually stun in the Murd, and Murden has not used his Dwarf Toss quite yet, so he could get away. Poison Nova does hit Tassadar. Low on HP, Shiny in trouble as well. Shogun trying to help out. Finally, they'd be forced to retreat, and do know that Zul has actually taken the amplified damage on that level 16 talent, so you just see Murd and Milt there, especially with Giant Killer.
It's amazing how incredibly value rich Poison Nova is, especially with that talent. I mean, he can just hit it, and the whole team, just their health starts ticking down. You can sense the panic in Uther, and the team just has to kind of like step back.
Yeah.
You know, it shatters the confidence. It absolutely rocks the supports on the side of Washington because it's very hard to deal with. There we see Diablo taking a ton of damage. Sundering goes out, and they do get the kill on Diablo. Aloe was trying to hold him back with Disintegrate. We see Divine Shield on the Shoyu as he strafes forward aggressively. The Mighty Gust comes out. Aloe, wow, nice teleport. He does hold on with his life, but they just basically have to disengage there, especially being a hero down.
Yep, Diablo will be back within 30 seconds, so not the worst engagement for Texas Tech, but unfortunately they may potentially lose their fort here as we see the entire team of Washington just beating on their door, starting to finally get infrastructure into their favor, and Washington now going to be actually forced to retreat as Falstad shows up and scares them away.
Yep, absolutely. Right now, mid lane, Washington just retreating. Going to go back, probably pick up their Merc camps, clean up this wave. Right now, the waves are pretty heavily pushed in that mid lane towards their side, so if they can continue to clear that, push it back, it will make them feel better. Hey,
more votes!
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone at home. They need a little bit of love there. I'm okay with the 26% to 74%. It's on them to do the rest. If they're going to change your opinions, we'll wait for them to win this game.
Yeah, I'm sure they can prove themselves if it's worth your vote for sure. All right, here we go. We're headed towards the late game, level 18-18 again. Even game as far as I can tell right now. We do have some cooldowns up on heroics for Washington, but it's only a few mere seconds here. Divine Shield will be back up in 20. We do see Vision coming out from Texas Tech, just trying to everyone trying to figure out where each other are right now.
Yeah, we're in a state in the game right now where there's no real pressure from either team to do anything. Both of them have 0 tributes currently, so they can decide when the first tribute spawns to leave it alone. There is a boss in the top right corner, but with Farside available on Rhaegar, he's able to scout that out periodically for the team. Diablo could also charge in. Sharsnik will take a totem and then immediately pop his dimensional shift. Now taking some damage here. A nice shot there from Aloe, but with the heals from Uther, you're going to see Tassadar start to run away. Sharsnik, though, starting to take a lot of damage. His second dimensional shift will pop. If he gets focused again, he could take a lot of damage. Aloe going in, though, with the Calamity. APOC has been popped down. Shogun falling up. There is a Poison Nova takedown, trying to take down anyone he can. Thrall does get rooted. Now Li Ming is going to start getting the resets. She goes in with the Calamity build, takes out one more member as Sharsnik will fall. Shogun in trouble as well. Falstad trying to help out, but I do believe Dwarf Toss is about to be up. He is going to retreat, but that fight goes into the favor of Texas Tech.
Yeah, 2 for 1 in that particular fight. Poison Nova, again, you see how long that poison lasts? It's so demoralizing. It's constantly in your face. You're losing health. And even though you have the health at the moment, it just feels like you don't. It feels like it's already gone. Wow, Rhaegar gets caught out by Oshogun's in the bush.
Oh, no.
There goes Diablo. Even more.
The throw pit. Aloe actually has no mana. He's going to be able to get away with a slight teleport, but the boss was actually there for the helpful support there and helping Washington fight. There was a root on Rhaegar as well as 2 auto attacks. And then from there, Washington just walks up and says, oh, you're dead. Here's an ability. And they start winning the entire team fight. Yeah. Gosh, you got to be careful with calls like that.
Yes, you have to be careful of that. Washington, though, deciding to turn back around, finish this boss out, and get it to work for them. Wow, crazy situation here right now. We're moving towards level 20. Both teams relatively even. Washington has a little bit of the lead, but Texas Tech able to get this tribute here in the lower left-hand corner, while Washington just tries to regroup. Oshogun, Terror, both really low on health, so we're probably going to see them head back to re-health, get back in the game, get ready for these next team fights that will inevitably happen. Meanwhile, Texas Tech getting the support of their boss right now in the lower left-hand corner.
Okay, Washington's going to be happy with that gift basket given to them by Texas Tech. We're going to have a golem in the bottom left for Texas Tech, and we're going to have that kind of situation we saw earlier, where a bit of a small trade. It looks like we will finally have the fort down the bottom right corner taken care of just because of this boss. So you're going to see Texas Tech just pull all the way back home and make sure they don't lose a keep. They're going to give up this fort in the middle. There's no point in keeping it anymore. It's kind of a low priority for them. And Washington, with being them level 20, might try to situate where they get into a fight, but Texas Tech is right on their heels.
Yep, absolutely. And these bosses doing work respectively for their teams. The boss for Texas Tech has a ton of health on it still. Right now, it's going to get cleared out by Texas Tech. The Washington one goes down, and they are able to regroup, but Ice Shiny is the sole damage dealer trying to clean this out. Of course, the rest of the team, they're nearby at the Merc camps. They're going to probably pick this up, go down, clear out that boss, and probably head up there for that tribute. If they continue to give these tributes to Texas Tech, that's not going to work well for them. They're going to push ever closer to those late game curses, and that is something they absolutely do not want to deal with.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate spawn for Washington. They would love for it to be down this bottom left area. They would be able to transition down to it and potentially disrupt it. But with being on the top, Texas Tech is going to count their lucky stars and take it. But now all the real, I guess, effort needs to be on Washington here with the next tribute coming up pretty soon. Super Boss Guy is going to run in the bush here. Not all the teammates are here quite yet. He needs to be a little
look
careful.
At that Disintegrate, though.
Destral?
So much damage from Disintegrate. There goes APOC. He catches them all out, but they aren't in a position to capitalize on it. Takedown there, right there in the front. A Shogun as well, waiting T, but we see the Poison Nova comes out. So much damage. Wow, Poison Nova again. Just so devastating. Washington has to back out. Super Boss Guy, so much health on that guy. Because of Ancestral Healing, he is ready to continue the charge. 5 healthy heroes moving forward. Meanwhile, Washington, playing a man down now, has to retreat.
Yeah, the major thing there was a Mighty Gus, the Ancestral Healing. It really helped out Texas Tech for securing those kills. What is Tassadar doing? Sharstick starting to get rooted here. Watch out for the amplified damage. There it is. He will be able to walk away, but you see Rhaegar falling up. There's a totem to slow him down, and that's a kill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoops.
You know, one thing about this map, we talk about it a lot, those chokes, those little channels there in the middle. With Li Ming, one thing about her Disintegrate, Tim, you've probably noticed it, it's a straight line. So when your heroes are packed into a straight line, they kind of go together.
Yeah,
and there's just so much damage coming out of Li Ming. If you're in that choke and you're all bunched up, that was a great way for them to start the fight. Kind of freaks the other team out. They're like, oh my goodness, we got to back up. And then, like you said, Ancestral Healing, all that stuff just pounded on. Great work by them. And of course, they're seeing the benefit of their work right now as they're pushing through the keep walls here in the mid lane. They're going to definitely get this keep, which is really, really great for Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech should be able to get at least 2 keeps here if they play this correctly. They have so much pressure in the middle lane. They can't quite win without potentially throwing the game. So they're going to go for the safe route here. They're going to walk to the top left corner, start beating down on this keep. And they still have 30 seconds. If they would like, they could mount up and run all the way to the bottom there and grab another keep as well. This is a huge,
that would be so much value, and it would feel like totally demoralizing to Washington if they did that. Are they really going to do it?
Oh, Diablo.
Oh, but no, they're just going to go for the team fight right now. We see Sundering, Diablo, all of it coming out. They're not quite fully engaging. Here comes the Ancestral Healing just to get Diablo back into fighting condition. Both teams kind of backing off right now. I think that's a smart move for Washington for sure. They're just going to try to clear up these lanes.
That was a solid pickup there for Washington. They realized that Diablo was lagging behind. He went around the left side where two team members actually went at the top for Texas Tech, so they jumped on him and they kind of procced him down, but that was enough to stop them from rotating down and killing the keep.
Yep, for sure. Curse is over now. Washington feeling better about that. They're just trying to calm the situation. They're not out of this game yet. They still can pull it back. Just need to stem the tide with these mercs, clear them out, get ready for the next pressure. But if Texas Tech wanted to continue to steamroll, they could. All of their heroics are ready, minus Ancestral Healing. So that is about on a minute cooldown still. And of course, Thralls and Muradins are still down on the side of Washington. So not utter confidence, but it might be inevitable. They're not going to force the issue here.
Yeah, I think they're going to hold off on going in for the fight because the entire fight that's been happening is Diablo charging in, flipping someone over, and then you see immediately after he flips somebody over, you see Aloe throw out an Arcane Orb and a Magic Missile to hit anyone that comes in and try and engage immediately after behind Diablo, and then they follow up with Ancestral Healing. So I think they have this little like 1-2-3 combo that is totally picking apart Washington, so they might hold off until that huge cooldown comes back to them. But you're right, if they find a bush strat or something that they can do to kind of get the jump on Washington, they could really engage here and of course take a win.
Yeah, anytime you see all that arcane magic coming your way, you definitely don't want to face check that stuff. So a cool combo by them for sure, working with the Diablo and the Li Ming. Here we see Terror running into a charging Lord of Terror. Right now caught in the bone prison, just trying to get back into a safe position.
Mighty Gust. Oh, he pushed them all away. However, Terror will start to walk away. Shogun, though, is going to be running in. The Poison Nova only hits 2 members. The APOC actually misses a lot here, and you kind of have to wonder, is Texas Tech chasing a little bit too much? Strafe is still available here for Washington, and now Tassadar walking in to do a force wall. He's going to catch Falstad. Falstad, however, will barrel roll through.
That charge there by Super Boss Guy on top of Thrall, but he has to back away just a little bit. Strafe comes out for a Shoyu, just trying to deal damage. And look, we're seeing the health bars for Texas Tech fall. We see Divine Shield come out there on the Muradin just to save him. Both teams going back and forth here. everyone a little bit worn down, but all teams still up. Oh, Uther does fall, but he's still into the fight. He also has his level 20 talent. He's going to be back shortly and able to continue to heal as he is in this state.
That fight was about 30 seconds long. That's how heavy these two teams are trading blows and how evenly matched they are. The tribute will now spawn, and we're going to see the entire team run in the top left corner here for Texas Tech and grab that. And now the question starts to pop up. Do we start moving into a situation where we grab bosses? Really, right now, you wouldn't want to do it with Washington having all 5 members up. Remember, redemption on Uther kept him alive. Even though he did die, he did resurrect a few seconds later. But now, remember that level 20 storm power is down. And now Texas Tech doing my favorite strategy, the... Sarah's gonna walk in, and remember, he does not. Oh no, Super Boss Guy, tell him.
Oh, here we go. Right now, Shogun just trying to face check Zul there, and here comes the face dimensional shift right now.
He's low. Oh, it's huge. He gets him. 3 hits going up. Beautiful bolt. However, members are still low here for Washington. Pleb Joe trying to help out where he can in the fight. Super Boss Guy trying to lock something down. Shiny coming from behind. The Sundering with 4 HP. What a legend. We do see Texas Tech still trying to get into a fight, and it looks like overall there won't be a takedown. These teams are so evenly matched.
Yeah, we're just seeing them go in, just punch each other Rocky style. You know, both of them getting all jacked up, but they're still in it, still fighting, going blow for blow, not even blocking punches, just taking it all. We'll see who comes out on top, who has the stamina to continue to endure the battle as we get even deeper into these higher levels in level 20, 22, 22, 26 minutes here right now on Cursed Hollow. Not something we always see. These teams, someone is going to have to win here shortly.
Texas Tech realizes that Sundering is down. You kind of have to wonder if Aishani could have saved that. It was flashy and it was helpful, but now a boss will be going to Texas Tech, but Washington not seeing Texas Tech anywhere on the map, grabs their own boss. However, the tribute is available for Texas Tech down here as they are once again getting lucky with these spawns. Now
the boss for Texas Tech is going to have to push through a keep scenario on Washington's side. Same thing for Washington in the top, so you know that's going to hurt. And they're both going to have to address it somehow, but it looks like right now the timing is in the favor of Texas Tech.
They have 2 options.
Better situation.
Yeah, they have 2 options here. They can go for the full choke and break their opponent down. They have catapult pressure in the middle lane. They have a boss at the bottom, where they only have 1 going pushing the top left corner.
Split push scenario here. Looks like
this is a little aggressive, but if they can make it work, it can pay off for them. So here we go, Ken.
Yeah, Force Wall comes out to block out. There goes the Sundering just to try to stem the tide. Apocalypse comes out. Strafe is out from Oshoyu. More damage coming down. Both blue team falling down so heavily. There comes the Poison Nova just to try to push them back. Oshoyu low on health, but both teams still going blow for blow. No one's fallen just yet. Takedown so low, just barely hanging on with his life. Oh man, this is exhausting, Tim.
Central going back and forth. And it looks like the pressure is going to keep going here for Texas Tech. They haven't lost anybody, and now they have a boss on the core. They would love to get some damage in, even if it's just a few pokes here and there. The boss still chunking away. The boss in the top left corner for Washington has just gotten through the keep.
They got to get rid of this boss.
But it might not be enough. This Texas Tech is going for the win.
Absolutely, Texas Tech trying to finish it out here right now, and they do. They take game 1 on Cursed Hollow on what was an incredibly challenging blow-for-blow match against Washington Hot Dogs. There you go. All of you believers out there on social media.
All 24% of you.
24%. Yes. That feels good, doesn't it? You got it. You went with the underdog, and you chose wisely.
I'm very impressed by Texas Tech when it comes to their engagements, the sustains, to be able to pull back. There's a lot of bait and switching happening in these team fights, especially there with Diablo and Li Ming. Diablo would go in for an engage, Li Ming would drop buttons to hit anyone that tried to help out with Diablo, and Rhaegar was there every single time to help out his teammate. You usually see Rhaegar be super aggressive and try in there and get some fights in, but he realizes, you know what, I'm be back, and I'm actually just a healer here. I'm going to drop some Qs, I'm going to drop a few ults, and I'm going to help out with with locking down with my totem, and that's about it. This team is playing so well together that it's actually astonishing to see.
Yeah, really, really cool, and of course, I love it, man. So good to see these teams that are just so equally matched, just going head-to-head. These long team fights that are so interesting, watching them go down, very, very cool. And of course, here's a quick look at the highlight reel. This is that late-game situation here. Boss on the core. We're watching as Texas Tech goes in for the kill. This was an interesting situation. Of course, that boss in the late game so powerful, but they were just able to continue to drive, stay with it, focus the core, most of their attention just trying to finish the game, not necessarily deal with Washington in a direct team fight. They wanted to just clinch it, finish it, and they had the support of that boss, so it worked for them.
Yeah, that was an aggressive play. It was a play that really works out for Texas Tech if no one dies.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. they didn't die. They made sure to get the golem all the way to the core. There was no defense on the golem the entire time because they were trying to get into a team fight. Washington was like, hey, we have to win this team fight. If we do, we deal with the boss and we can go back and win the entire game. So Washington made the right play, but because of their misplays in the early game when the keys being taken out and never grabbing tributes, we just saw Texas Tech slowly but surely steamroll them over.
Yeah, don't die is a good adage. I like that.
Don't die.
Don't die, man. It works for you, not just in life, but also in video games. Hold tightly to that one. It was free. Tim and I, that was just game 1. We still have game 2 and a potential game 3 on our hands right now with these even match teams. We're going to be right back. Of course, if you want to follow all the action, don't just watch us. Go check out here'satthedorm.com. There's a huge bracket of other games, other colleges going head-to-head. We're just in the round of 32. We got weeks more of this, folks. So go check it out, here'satthedorm.com. Tim and I are going to be right back with you shortly. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back. Here's the Dorm 2016. We're taking a look at a replay package from yesterday's round of 64 Washington Hot Dogs. We saw them doing work against Temple in the round of 64 yesterday. Tim, talk to us a little bit about what all went down.
Yeah, yesterday they were all about execution and really making sure that they won team fights. They were very confident in their play, and it showed over and over again. There we saw a false set earlier fly in and actually push the entire team into the team and actually kind of win the game. But here was a major play that we remember yesterday was the amazing devouring maul. This was the biggest moment of the day for me as they picked up 4 people. We saw iShiny go aggressive on Limi, and of course from there went ahead and won the fight. So Washington has it in them. They just need to pull it off where they can here. You know, Texas Tech was a little bit more of a tougher opponent than we saw with Temple yesterday, but moving in, Washington can take this game back in game number 2 and take it to a series number 3, so don't count them out quite yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Texas Tech, a team that we continue to see being underrated by folks out there, those of you watching, even after seeing their play from the round of 64 where they absolutely just demolished Waterloo. Well, and I shouldn't give them all that credit. Game 1 was pretty close. They brought it back, but then in game 2, just that confidence alone surged them to victory in a very confident 2-0 win over the number 1 seed in the North. And here we're seeing them do it again against Washington, a team that was a veteran team from last year. iShiny's been in Here's the Dorm before. He's leading his team. We saw them play very well yesterday and have some true moments of brilliance. Sure, they made some mistakes, but we saw them lose game 1.
Yeah.
And can they bring it back? This is their tournament life. Of course, game 2, it is single elimination. If they fall to Texas Tech on their next battleground here, they're going to be out.
Yeah, and Kurstal is one of those battlegrounds that doesn't seem to really work out for them as they would like to. But Pleb Joe was a player in that last game that was playing very, very well. We saw a lot of great plays from him, especially when it came down to Rhaegar dropping the Ancestry Healing on the Diablo. Him and Diablo had a synergy that I haven't seen in a while, just really being on point, making sure to hit those timings. And Diablo trusted him. He'd say, okay, I'm going in, I'll go for the engage. Sometimes you'll see a Diablo going for an engage, throw somebody behind them, and they'll retreat. They're like, I'm out. I do no damage. And he would stand there and body block and say, I am the front line. Watch out, I got a puppy behind me. And he would just dominate. It was cool.
I love that about Diablo. He can just go so full on. It almost feels like he can be overly aggressive. At least it's fun to watch the Texas Tech style. Diablo just wades in like he's like, what, are we fighting? You think this is damage you're dealing to me? Nope, sorry, Ancestral Healing on full health. It worked really well for them. And you know,
quick
maybe
match,
they're going to
Diablo's dead every time. Every time. And then you're reporting him feeding. But nonetheless, Pleb Joe again played well, so we're going to watch out for more great support from him as well as we head into the next series. But Washington Hot Dogs and Texas Tech has been such a fun match already. Going into game number 2, Kevin, I'm kind of wondering, who are you going to be looking to?
Oh, man, so cool to see Texas Tech just sort of flipping the script on us right now. So, I mean, my bracket's in shambles already, so I'm kind of like, it's just fun to watch this all roll out and play out. So, I would love to see Texas Tech take a win. I think the underdog story is really cool. And, you know, I do love Washington. We've seen their play. We had those conversations with iShiny. I love the way he's leading his team. It's so great. We know they've been working so hard. They've mentioned 12 to 16 hours a day of practice. I mean, in their spring break nonetheless.
Yeah.
And their friends are probably all hanging out.
And being on the beach. Well,
I
guess there's no beaches in Washington that are fun to go to. But they could still go outside, you know, throw a football or something. But yeah, they're practicing all day, 12 to 16 hours, really jamming out, working together, wanting to take this tournament as serious as they can. Well, they need to get serious for game number 2.
Yes, this is absolutely it. Everything is on the line, of course. They're backed by the support of players from last year, Kawhi Rice, Panucci, all in Washington's corner, trying to coach them to victory. And of course, here we are, game 2. It's on the line. We know that they're all rooting for them. Let's take a look at the draft. Right now, we're going to be on Infernal Shrines, a very interesting and common second pick in Heroes of the Dorm. We've seen it as the second pick chosen by most teams here in the round of 32. And right off the draft, right off the bat, we've seen Muradin banned out by Texas Tech. Muradin, of course, was on the front line there for Washington, working for them. And, of course, Washington saying, man, that Poison Nova, it hurts. It hurts really bad.
They're not feeling playing against that again, especially with the Zul Li Ming combo that we saw earlier. It's such a powerful combo that can really work out for them. And also, Li Ming, in a way, kind of loses a lot of her value on this battleground around the shrines because of all those minions being in the way. The skill shots are a bit harder to pick off, so you have to play a little bit more methodically. But she does come together if you do win the Punisher. It can be a devastating combo to have a Punisher jump on top of an opposing member and have Li Ming follow up with the damage. So first pick going to Texas Tech here with Li Ming. Washington following up with Greymane. And yesterday we saw Shiny on Greymane.
Yeah, we did. He played very, very well as Greymane. Of course, Greymane just a solid damage dealer. He has incredible poke with his cocktails from afar, and then he watched those health bars drain, goes in for the kill as he transitions into Worgen form, where he gets even more damage in melee with his auto attacks. And then, of course, Zagara, constant, awesome, incredible presence in the lane, vision support around those shrines, a lot of opportunity, and of course Devouring Maw, such a killer heroic that we saw Washington get incredible value out of yesterday. I'm sure they can do it again here with Texas Tech, and Texas Tech picking up Rhaegar. We saw, just great play out of them in the first game with Rhaegar. We're going to see it again here on Infernal Shrines. Falstad as well, going the way of Texas Tech. Nice sustained damage dealer. We see some people go for the more mage style, ability-driven style out of Falstad. We'll see if they choose to go that route, gathering power and such. But let's see exactly what we're going to have happen in the second ban phase.
Yeah, I think Falstad's the major pick here for Texas Tech. We saw Washington just land key Devouring Maws after Devouring Maul yesterday, especially that huge one. So the Mighty Gust is the way to kind of rectify that, right? If you have a Devouring Maul hit 2 or 3 people, Falstad's kind of skirting along on the outside, pushes them all away, resets the fight, good to go. Stitches will be picked up here for Washington.
We see those smash builds.
Yeah, and also he's got a really strong build here where you can get the little slime pudge that you pick up and you can devour those, and it resets a cooldown if you do it on minions to get a last hit on it. So we should be seeing his devour build on this battleground because it's very strong. It was nerfed a couple weeks ago because it was so strong that it was ridiculous, but now it's to a point where it's in a stable spot but still very, very good. And then of course you can't go wrong with that hook.
Yeah, the hook, man, so disruptive. If you get early picks before the opposing team is ready to engage, it just keeps them from engaging, and obviously gives you a leg up in the battle, and keeps your team. I'm losing my words, Tim. My words.
It's been a long day, but you do want to keep your feet, planted in these games. Don't worry, I got you. We got the cover.
Oh, my feet, dude.
And then Karazim will be the final pickup here for Washington. With Greymane and Zagara being heroes that don't really have the mobility available to them, it's going to be a little bit hard for them to stay alive if they are not on point. Karazim can dive in with Greymane and help out, and then supply a Divine Palm if need be.
Yep, and of course the ETC pickup here by Texas Tech. That mosh pit, so much value. We see it constantly. It would be really cool if we saw some stage dive action, but who knows? Right now, Zeratul as well picked up for them. So much control here coming out for Texas Tech between the mosh pit, Void Prison. I think that's going to work for them.
Texas Tech getting Zeratul for takedown. We saw him in game number 2 against Waterloo just absolutely destroy the opponents. Washington will have to be paying attention constantly to the cooldown available to Zeratul as well as where he's at, and then make sure that they're never grouping up so a huge Void Prison can go down, because if you have a Void Prison into an ETC mosh pit, that spells death, especially if Zagara's not around to actually bring in the Devouring Maul and disrupt that.
Yeah, and of course Li Ming going to be in the back line trying to amplify her damage, get those resets, and we did see Raynor picked up there for Washington Hot Dogs as their final pick. Solid damage dealer, good self-sustain from him. I'm curious if we're going to see Karazim go the route of 7-sided strike, or if we're going to see him go the route of Divine Palm.
I think Divine Palm's the pick here.
Yeah.
Seven-side strike would be good against ETC, but the other targets are really low on health.
Right.
And really, when you're hitting them, they're probably going to die anyway, so you don't need that 7% damage that you're going to be able to work in. Divine Palm just seems a little bit more handy here for Greymane. You want to make sure that Greymane can get in, do his damage in a confident manner, and know that he has a backup needed in case there is a mistake that happens.
Yeah, it's one thing with Greymane to hit the button to go into the engagement, but it's another thing to be able to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because we see Greymanes constantly go in for the kill and then lose their life, and that doesn't really work out for you. You want to be able to go in, get out, and continue to push. So that is actually a good call. I think Divine Palm is the way to go, and of course we're ready. If you're out there though, if you're out there, use the hashtag Here's the Dorm. Vote for your team. Hashtag vote for Texas Tech or hashtag vote for Washington. We are here. This is the match where Texas Tech could go all the way to the round of 16. Here they are on the blue side. Allo with Li Ming, Diamond Neil on Falstad, Pleb Joe on Rhaegar, Sup Boss Guy on ETC, and Takedown on Zeratul.
All right, Pleb Joe once again on Rhaegar. The captain of this team has to be so happy with the progress so far. On the very far right, Washington Hot Dogs. It is time for them in game number 2 to turn it on. If they lose this match, they will be falling out of the tournament and will not be going on to the Super 16. So here they are, Shiny, Terra, Shogun, and Shinobu, or Shoyu going in for the aggression. And then, of course, in the very, very top there for Zagara, it's going to be our player, Sharsnik.
Yeah, a lot of syllables in those names, Oshoyu, Oshogun.
I like Oshobu.
Yeah.
I'm going to change his name.
Oshobu.
Just now. Done.
Well, I said Supa Boss Guy incorrect. I said Suppa Boss Guy, and that's not nearly as cool.
Maybe he's from Texas, man. Suppa.
Suppa, man.
All right.
Boss Guy.
Well, aggression in the middle of the map here. Zagara's already pushing in. Remember, Diamond Neil can fly away, so Super Boss Guy looking for an engage, and it will be on Greymane. Shiny will be the target as he is focused down. One more auto attack. There it is. Allo getting the reset, putting more damage on Shoyu, and then retreats. Diamond Neil does get hooked, but he should be flying away ASAP to get into lanes.
ETC looking like he is ready to rock in this game. He's ready for the power slides, ready to make the plays. Nice little display there in this early game. Of course, both teams settling into lanes, starting that experience game. Watch out for the Zeratul. He's going to go for the sneaky picks if possible. But of course, Zagara, a hero that is not known for being easily taken down, but Super Boss Guy with his sons, I mean, they can do it here in the
Yeah, Sharsnik knows something up. First off, Zeratul is always targeting Zagara. He just wants to eat up that Zerg meat for lunch if possible. So you see Sharsnik playing very safe. In fact, you may actually see him there. There is a slight shimmer that is available if you know someone is cooked. And that creep, although it doesn't give them quite vision on the creep, the creep tumor actually gives the vision. Sharsnik might be aware that he's just there floating around.
Yeah, of course, if he's not moving around, you know, it's possible you don't see that shimmer move around. You might not even know. But here we see Shrine activating in the top here. Of course, this is the map mechanic on Infernal Shrines. You capture the minions that spawn. You collect 40 of them.
No!
Ooh, here it is. That's the one. Sharsnik getting the drop. Body blocks on Sharsnik. This is going to be one dead Zerg. There it is. We were predicting it, and it happened.
Poor Sharsnik. He was playing that so well, and you can't blame him.
Yeah.
He was waiting for, what, 15, 20 seconds?
So
and
patient.
Texas Tech was just like, you know what, we're going to go for it, and eventually caught him. You know, that's just one of those scenarios that sometimes you just can't prevent it.
Yeah, absolutely. And right before this Shrine situation here, Pleb Joe in there, Super Boss Guy also getting a good start towards that 40 count, getting the first Punisher to work for them in that top lane. Hot Dogs grouping up around the Shrine. Are they going to go all in, go for it themselves? Will they choose to prioritize XP gain in lanes? Looks like right now they do want to address it, at least flirt with the idea of contesting. And here we go. Nice body blocks on Pleb Joe. He is fully caught out. You cannot push through that meat stack Oshogun on Stitches. You can't get around that guy. He's huge.
Yeah, well, Washington just saw Li Ming go through the middle lane, so they knew that was the time to run in and cause some disruption, and Rhaegar getting picked apart. Now, we do have Washington a little bit ahead in the minion race here at 25-16 here for Texas Tech. You're going to see Allo try to poke wherever he can. This is where Li Ming has a really hard time, as she just cannot connect those kills. And Texas Tech, after losing Rhaegar, may decide to go ahead and just give this up. It's going to be an Arcane Punisher. It is a little dangerous, but again, as we mentioned before on the broadcast, the first Punisher isn't the worst thing ever. With your ranged assassins, you can totally deal with it.
You know, I think that's one of the things that's super cool about Heroes. I mean, there's lots of things that's super cool about Heroes, but I love the fact that a player on a Stitches could just say, I don't even need to use an ability. My team can we can just put our bodies here, corner this hero, take him out of the fight using our auto attacks.
Yeah.
Really cool.
He's super fluffy. If you can steal a wall, you're not going to be able to walk away. And boom goes Raynor. Takedown now following afterwards, trying to go for Shiny. Shiny, however, will be able to retreat, especially with the heals there from Terra.
I'll show you, just getting melted out of the fight. Of course, Raynor's self-heal, which does activate, which can sometimes give you confidence, like, I think Raynor's going to be fine. But if he gets a ton of burst damage on him, that doesn't even get a chance to fire. It is sort of a heal over time, though it does tick pretty quickly. If you have burst damage going down on Raynor, it doesn't even get a chance to have value.
Yeah, totally true there. Now, Texas Tech moving on to level 7 here. We do actually have a bit of a different build here from their Zeratul. We actually have the extra range on the Q as well. Is that Vorpal Blade? I believe that is Vorpal Blade. No,
Yeah.
that's actually...
Oh, no, that isn't. That's...
Let me check that talent, because I
yeah.
actually have not seen it in a while. That is actually, yeah, Master Warp Blade. Every third consecutive base attack against same target deals 100% damage with follow-through. So Zeratul for a takedown is really assuming that he's going to be able to sit in the middle of a fight and keep applying auto attacks and getting follow-through procs. It's a build that's super glass cannon.
Yeah.
It's a build that is a little risky to pull off, but if you got faith in your play, man, bust it out. That's what I say.
Yeah, sure. It's a little bit less of a safe style. Vorpal Blade known for providing even more mobility on an already slippery hero. But if you're going to commit, if you feel like you have good trust in your supports, let's do it. Let's see what they can do with it. Right now, blue team just postured up here in the middle side. Texas Tech just trying to stem the tide of these impalers that just got spawned by Washington. Of course, we are on relatively even footing here in the XP game. Both teams turning over the corner to level 8, getting closer to level 10, and the spawning of this second shrine happening in the lower side of the map here. Shogun throws out the hook, miss, takedown, of course, cleaning up these minions before the 2 seconds left in this shrine will start to spawn its minions.
I'm really curious, just thinking about this build more on Zeratul. Is he going to go for Shadow Assault?
Whoa.
Because what we saw from Washington, and this is just a bit of a punish
Yeah.
on iShiny, whenever there would be an engage from Washington, iShiny would move towards Ling Ming and just burst her down. But if you get Shadow Assault, you
can
blink
just
backwards,
blink,
Shadow
yeah.
Assault on the Grey Mane, you both together can melt Grey Mane fast enough where the opposing team won't actually have much of an engagement.
That's an interesting concept. I mean, they already have a lot of control with ETC, of course, with Mosh Pit, so maybe that would be something they would go for.
I'm saying it's an idea, and we're going to throw that out there. But now in the bottom shrine, we're going to watch our teams try to throw out damage on top of these minions here. They're trying to poke down and try to win this race to 40. Aloe now bringing in the Calamity build, helping out. And we have Zeratul in the top right corner looking for an area where he could get a poke on an opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams even in the minion count here around this shrine, trying to go for the Punisher. No team really focused on the other right now, just looking at gathering those minions. There we see the power slide from ETC and the face melt knockfoul. iShiny a little bit out of position as a result, body blocked in. He will drop out of the fight. That is Grey Mane, their major source of damage. Diamond Neil low on health though, does have to back away. And Pleb Joe gets taken out.
Hydra is a hero there,
Yeah.
getting the kill. Takedown though, looking towards taking out Shoyu, low on HP.
Ooh, Super Boss guy
Boy will get bullied away, and this will be a shrine for Washington here. They're at 33 minions.
Yeah, that is gonna go for Washington. Nice pickup by them as they move closer to level 10. This gives them a leg up. They're going to get their heroics. They're going to feel really great. Maybe even help with a little bit of pushing here alongside this Punisher. Start to get some good structural damage working on Texas Tech. And here we see a Shogun coming in support, followed by a Shoyu. The brothers, the twins, working together.
Yeah, they are. Washington has not shown their heroic yet for Kerosene. There it is, Divine Palm. I was wondering if that would be the go for, because Raynor has dealt pure damage. He hasn't picked up any talents for his Adrenaline Rush in any form. He's got Seasoned Marksman, Focus Attack, as well as Revolution Overdrive to really just get in there and work those auto attacks in and melt people in front of him. Here comes a Hyperion. 4 is being taken down. There's a Void Prison finally being picked up here for takedown. We're going to have a Power Slide from Super Boss. He actually gets knocked back, by the way, by Shoyu, and we're going to engage. Huge Devouring Maw. Pleb Joe is Pleb dead. Super Boss Boy going for the aggression and takedown, trying to help out.
Oh man, that Devouring Maw again, just working magic miracles for Washington. They go for an almost full team kill, 4 heroes down for Texas Tech. That is incredible play by Zagara. Man, so much value out of that Maw. It just gave them total control.
All right, well, let's watch the power of them all. When you group up too heavily, the hook was important for Shogo here. He went straight in for Pleb Joe. Pleb Joe was destroyed. We did see ETC be taken out as well, and Diamond Neil trying to retreat. But you can see these auto attacks from Shoyu really busting out any damage anyone that hits, because that focus attack is proccing, as well as the Season Marksman stacks that he has.
It doesn't feel good to see a Glorious Griffin go down like that. It's sad.
Yeah, poor Swiftbeak.
Yeah.
Getting destroyed. So in the middle lane, the bottom lane, we're getting some pressure from Texas Tech as they're trying to find themselves in a way that they can actually get back into this game. I do believe last game, for the most part, after level 10, we saw Texas Tech in the lead.
Yes.
Now we get to see how they function from behind.
Right. Well, we saw them behind in that game against Waterloo, and that did not phase them. They brought it back for the win. But can they do it again here against Washington? A whole new set of opponents, a whole new set of strategies that they are fighting against here on Infernal Shrines.
A hook does come down and hits Pleb Joe once again.
Super
Pleb
boss guy caught.
The Mighty Gusto will help out, and that resets the team fight. That's what you're looking for with that heroic. Texas Tech saving their teammates and getting ready for the next round.
That could have been another death to body blocking there in that little channel, but like you said, the disengage was super helpful. Right now, they're going to pick up this Fallen Shaman and his hounds to push lanes, and we see the next shrine activating here in the middle side of the temple. Of course, Zeratul ready to help support his team while Washington moves down to position around the shrine. We see all of their heroics up, pretty much. Devouring Maw now just coming off cooldown, and then of course a Billy Goat up there on the side of Texas Tech, also looking ready for a fight.
Washington does have the ability here to be a tad bit stronger as they are level 13, and do note that Stitches did not go for the build where they're devouring the minions here. He went for full relentless, tanky build, grabbing the amplified healing as well, so whenever Karazim does get close and provides a heal, he gets it amplified for himself. So Shogun is very, very robust, and we see Texas Tech giving up on that shrine. You know what? Let's not deal with it. Let's go bottom lane, get 13. Let's go to an area of the map where we don't even see Washington, and let's grab a fort if possible, then come back and defend.
Yeah, interesting to see Stitches going that route. We usually see, or oftentimes do see him investing talents in the slam build just to get, basically take out minions around these shrines a lot quicker. But obviously trusting his team to do that for him. Slam still has a lot of value in terms of AoE damage. So yeah, that tankiness for Stitches is probably going to be a huge value here going into the late game. His health pool gets bigger, even more amplified healing coming out of Karazim as they move it towards the late game. Right now, Washington continuing to put on pressure here in the mid lane, get more fortifications down, more experience, increase their lead, which is now a nice, solid single level above Texas Tech. Really good work by them to continue to build on their momentum. They need to stay in this game. If they lose this game, that is it for them. Here's the Dorm 2016 closes the book. They are done.
Yeah, Texas Tech was able to get 13 by going to that bottom lane. They got a little bit of damage on the fort, but not too much. There is a VP. They should be trying to focus down Shogun if they can. Rainer stepping up to help his teammate. That stage dive on top of a couple of members here. The power slide does miss, though. The Ancestor healing misses as well. The Devouring Maw is important. Aloe gets taken out, and 3 members immediately are destroyed here by Washington.
This is great for Washington. This is great for them. Stage dive, an interesting choice, of course, by Texas Tech. We haven't seen it used. Nice to see it pulled out, but it definitely didn't work for them in that situation. Fully countered by Washington, and of course, they have to be feeling really good right now.
Yeah, I felt like the stage dive engage was actually really good. The follow-up power slide just was not enough. I believe I saw a cleanse there from Karazim that prevented the stun from handing Zagar, but it actually did miss the other 2 heroes as well. So Washington just on point when it comes to team fights. They're starting to warm up a little bit here. Texas Tech needs to get it together here and make sure that they're connecting those important buttons. They also miss the Ancestor healing.
Yeah, that is true. And of course, Washington ever closer to that level 16 power surge for those talents. Texas Tech trying to figure out what to do before that happens, because this is essentially going to put them on losing confidence, essentially going.
Yeah, they're demoralized.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. So they need to focus on experience gain, get in the lanes, work on soaking that, get back, get up to level 16 to feel confident to engage this team once more.
They may have to fight at a disadvantage, though, looking at it. First off, Devouring Maw is down, so you do have the opportunity to finally start grouping up and then get those engagements in.
You got to go now, though.
Yeah, they're a little bit behind. They could go for the passive route and go ahead and move the top and soak and get to 16, as mentioned, but this is a free Punisher for Washington. They have pressure on the bottom lane already. In fact, it's so free for them, they could probably put 2 heroes here, maybe Shiny, maybe Zagar to help out with those attacks, and take the other 3 members, and they are actually doing this right now, and go push the bottom left.
Yep, absolutely. Right now, Washington deciding just to push. They're leaving the shrine altogether. And look, Texas Tech doing the exact same thing in the top here. They're going to go for this fort, get it taken down, but of course, Washington a little bit further push in than Texas Tech at this point right now. They're going for the keep. They're dealing damage, and let's see exactly how Texas Tech, there they go. They're being back. Got to get back to defend right now.
Zeratul going to come in here and bring the VP so the team can back.
Tide.
Falstad might be able to fly behind here and might get some people in if they're feeling that boldness, but the stage dive was way too early. The Void Prison was way too early, and the follow-up was just not there. The timings are falling apart here for Texas Tech.
I don't quite know why ETC felt like stage diving that early was the right choice, but he did. Maybe he just mistimed the Hearthstone timing.
I think it was more of the whole situation of, oh, VP's been thrown down. I need to follow up on top of it.
Like it just felt like synergies need to happen.
Weren't quite there. I feel like actually Takedown should have waited a little bit longer, even allow that keep to go down if they were going to go for that play. If you're going to go for an all-in play and try and get yourself back in the game, at least do it together.
That makes sense. Absolutely. You got to have the support of your team. ETC jumping into a middle of a 5-man team fight is just going to be one dead cow. And here we see Washington going for the pickup on these Impalers while they're also cleaning up the Punisher here. As they round even closer to level 18, they're just extending their lead over Texas Tech. Can Texas Tech pull off a miracle here and get back in the game? We do see a pause, so our apologies right now. Must be some technical issues going on for the players. It'll just be a brief moment, though. We'll be back into the action. But I think that is the question. Can Texas Tech get back into this game?
Well, lucky for them, the time period for them to come back is about to hit. They're about to hit 16, as Kevin was mentioning it earlier, which will give them the ability to have the talent power to actually fight. And between 17 and 19, that is a scenario where you can get to an engagement and you won't be too far behind in terms of power. So we could see Texas Tech come back with the fight. Actually make it occur. Just get 16, make sure you have your cooldowns and go in. But the thing is, Devouring Maul is now up for Zagara, which makes it very hard to come in for the engage.
Yeah, absolutely. So something that you have to play around entirely, try to bait it out before you go to the full engage. Maybe put pressure on the Zagara so that she uses it in an inoptimal time. You don't want to let that Zagara just sit there tactically waiting for people to group up, because that's all the Zagara is thinking about, right? When they're waiting for the right time for the Devouring Maul, waiting for the team to tunnel in on a particular hero, group up, especially bring their melees together. And so, yeah, you want to kind of put pressure on that Zagara if you can, bait out that Devouring Maul so that you can go in with that heroic on cooldown.
Yeah.
So we do have a little bit of a replay here just to talk about this game right now. Oh, we're actually back in the real game. Excuse me, not a replay. We are back in Washington, level 17. Texas Tech, level 15, but close to that 16 power spike. They're going to get their talents. They're going to feel more confident. But here we see Washington ready for the push. There is nothing that stands between them and the core right now except the core itself. Actually, that's the wrong way to say that. But,
it is in the way, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It is quite a speed bump. We need to see Super Boss and then pull this Punisher into this keep. There they go. They are doing so. Power Slide was actually just used. It's one of the major engages here for Texas Tech, so they should be a little bit careful with using that ability. I would love to see Zeratul start putting a little bit more pressure on Sharsnik. The problem is, if you look at the team fight, Shoyo is always near Zagara. We do have Super Boss taking some damage. Ancestor Healing was used, maybe a little bit iffy. We do have Diamond, though, floating around. He does have Mighty Gust, looking for a possible engage. Here comes the stage dive moving in. Sharsnik taking some damage. Zeratul will get on top of that, helping on the attacks. The, Devouring Maul.
Yeah, Devouring Maul, nice.
People.
Absolutely.
I understand the aggression. I see them grouping up so heavily, but they gotta be in a situation where they're not getting huge with those Devouring Maws. Washington taking out 2 people will now just right-click the core and win the fight. You have got to stop giving Washington Zagara.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Every time I see these fights, people are not spreading out and they're not getting into a situation where they can actually kill Zagara, and it's costing them the fight every single time. You can tell Washington has that hero down on lock. It's time to ban it out.
Yeah, they got to ban it out. This next game has to happen.
Yeah.
You know what? It's interesting because we're not seeing Washington play perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing a lot of interesting things go down. We watched Stitches queue up his Putrid Bile really early. Like, I don't really see him setting up ideal scenarios. I think he's trying to trigger it, pull people into hooks that allow for pickoffs, but I just don't. I feel like even their timings around the heroics aren't being utilized well. But right now, Texas Tech is just, yeah, they're failing to the Zagara.
Yeah. And Washington, kudos to them, man. They are getting it together. They're bringing in the heroes they need to actually win the game. And, of course, when it comes to actually going for the core and achieving it, they are doing so. The series is now tied 1-1, and we'll be going to game number 3. And Texas Tech, you know, they showed some promise, but if they play like they did in game number 2, I see Washington walking away with this victory easily.
Hard to disagree with you there, Tim. We're going to be back for that. We're going to see game 3 both of these teams, their life is on the line here in the round of 32, round of 16 coming up. Of course, before we go to break, let's take a quick look at the top predicted teams to win for this round. Of course, we had our bracket challenge over on here'sthedorm.com. Those of you out there that participated, here's who you think is going to take it all. Of course, Arizona State, the real dream team, sitting on top of the world with the predictions right here. Yeah, absolutely. Michael Udall and crew, 72% of you think that they will advance to the round of 32, and 10% of you out there think they're going to take it all. Of course, we saw the upset on Cal Berkeley in the round of 64. They're out, so those of you that chose them, sorry, your brackets took a hit. Assumption College just below them at a 7% prediction to win it all. UConn 6, and then as you can see below there, a couple more upsets. UT Arlington sitting down there at 4%. Don't underestimate those guys. Yeah. They've got some incredibly skilled mechanical players on their team. And then Boston College, we saw some play from them earlier.
They were looking great.
Yeah, looking really solid.
They've got it down. There was not a time in the game where I felt like they didn't have teamwork down to a T. They were grabbing everything they could. They were moving together. So Boston College is definitely a team to keep an eye on.
Yep, for sure. And of course, we are not done yet. We are going to be right back. Game 3 here between Texas Tech, Billy Goat Gruff, and Washington Hot Dogs. We're going to be right back. Tim and I have one more game to bring you today. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Here's the Dorm 2016. You're here with Cloaken and Trikslyr, and we are right in the middle of the battle between Texas Tech, Billy Goat Gruff, and Washington Hot Dogs. Both teams have taken a game off of each other, and we are going into the rubber match here. We've yet to figure out exactly what battleground we're going to be on right now, but both of these teams looking solid. They're going both blow for blow, and it has been exciting here in the round of 32.
Yeah, a word to any team that plays against Washington, obviously because we can't have Texas Tech listening in right now because they're in the middle of playing their game. Yeah. But stop giving Washington Zagara. No more. I'm going to spell it incorrectly for you so it goes to your head. S-T-A-H-P. Stop. No more Washington getting Zagara because she is devastating teams whenever we have Sharsnik on that hero. He has so much patience and so much confidence in his teammates to keep him alive, keep the peel available, that he just hits the money shots when need be. So watch out for that and don't allow for Zagara to be getting that, getting into the hero draft anymore.
Yeah,
ban
exactly.
it out.
They're giving Sharsnik all the time in the world to wait for the ideal moment to trigger that ability. I mean, sometimes we see him use it in defense, you know, just if he gets in a rough situation. Yeah. For the most part, he's just getting ideal scenarios right now. And here he is, Sharsnik. He plays that Zagara. We see him there, prioritizing him as probably the most played hero in this tournament so far. Physics major there from Washington University, and great play by him. We've seen some of the dirtiest devouring maws of the tournament come out of this guy.
Well, let's stop seeing dirty maws and jump into the draft here, as we're already halfway through it, so let's get an idea of what's going on with our teams and what they're going for. So, right into it, Washington has gotten Greymane, gotten Muradin, gotten Rhaegar, and good job, Texas Tech. You get a gold star today as they have banned out Zagara. Li Ming and Zul will be the pickup for them.
Yep, and we're going to be on Sky Temple. We didn't get a chance to tell you that. We are here in the middle of the draft, just picking up speed. And of course, Li Ming and Zul on the side of Texas Tech. We've seen those heroes work well for them. Obviously, Li Ming a favorite for them, so prioritizing that makes a ton of sense. They get so much damage. The Disintegrate worked really well on the game that provided them their victory. And of course, on the side of Washington, the Greymane again, the Muradin and the Rhaegar. A lot of familiar faces here from games we've seen in Here's the Dorm. And of course the bans, looks like they just, Texas Tech does not want to deal with the poison out of Lunara, the poke out of Lunara there on the temples. And of course that Zagara ban. Really smart work by them to take that hero off of Washington. It has just been crushing teams and basically giving them everything they need to pull the victory. And there's Tyrande ban coming out from Washington. They do not want to deal with Hunter's Mark. They do not want to deal with all the tools that Tyrande provides, including support for her team, as well as vision through her owls that she can shoot all the way across the battleground, basically scout out the plans of the opposing team. So Tyrande is taken off of the option list here for Texas Tech. What are they going to choose to respond here to their strategies? What would you like to see out of Texas Tech here?
Well, I like to see some kind of follow-up for Zul. Tyrande would have actually been their normal follow-up. So nice pickup here by Washington. In the prior games before the round of 64, we did see Diamond Neal actually pick up Tyrande 6 times in the prior game. So that's actually Washington doing their homework. Good job, guys. Texas Tech is actually going to be picking up Brightwing and Thrall. So they're going for a little bit more global presence here. They have actually not played Brightwing yet on Diamond Neal, but Pleb Joe actually does play a very solid Brightwing here. So again, we've seen her a few times today, and we can see the capability that she has available to her. I like the Lunara ban. This makes a little bit more sense now because Brightwing actually can't quite heal with that, or can't heal through all that poison that comes from Lunara and all that poke. So getting rid of Lunara allows Brightwing to be a viable pick here.
Yeah, and of course, so many tools on Brightwing's kit here. Polymorph, great ability to lock down heroes, keep them out. Those heavy aggressors, the Sonyas, those Illidan's that we often see. Polymorph, just a great tool to keep them at bay, those aggressive melee assassins. And of course, the healing can't be underrated, the global presence can't be underrated. And then, you know, her Arcane Flare as well, really good at clearing out minions in wave. A little bit fragile though, so she has to be careful while she's laning, but a solid pick. And it looks like they do have the backup from Thrall coming out again, so solid laner there for them. ETC coming out for Texas Tech as well. And then on the other side, we see Jaina and Sonya. Nice to see that pair again. They can bring a ton of control and a ton of damage.
Yeah, a lot of damage. And the main thing here is actually the combo of Muradin and Sonya. We've been seeing it all day. It's such a good teamwork-based type of small synergy between two people. If you have your two warriors working together, landing the storm bolts, bringing the damage, allowing Sonya to go super aggressive, and then you allow your healer to pay attention to Jaina, you can really bring in some work and kind of dictate how fights go if you're on point.
Yeah, is there a way to pull that draft up again? It'd be really great to just see it if we have a couple minutes to dissect that. Of course, we saw the Zul pick up on the side of Texas Tech. That worked really well for them in the first game. The Poison Novas, and you know, when you do have those double warrior scenarios coming out from Washington, that Poison Nova in general can basically put a true hurt on, especially if Greymane goes for the dive and he holds on to it. They get that solid poison out. Rhaegar, though, that's a good healer to deal with it. Chain Heal will do a good job, at least of sustaining the team across the board. So they do have the tools to address it, but I'm sure we're going to see some serious poison damage coming out of Zul.
Yeah, and the major thing for Texas Tech is they just want to get to the late game for Thrall's damage when he gets in the melee range, but also Zul getting that amplified damage at level 16. They really seem to value that Bone Prison talent because it is a talent that say, hey, I'm getting this guy, everyone get ready to focus him. Li Ming can teleport to a scenario where she can hit the skill shot, Thrall can follow up, as well as ETC. They actually have a very, very large amount of control here. Even when Sonya goes in for a hard engage, you have Polymorph for Brightwing, but you can also have that Pixie Dust, which will give the assassins that are probably getting focused by Sonya just enough movement speed to get away from her.
Yeah, that movement speed boost, super helpful for heroes like Li Ming, who just need to stay at bay, stay at range, get out of the clutches, the grasps of the Greymanes who are trying to dive in, go for the kill, the Jainas for the burst damage that comes from her. So interesting setup here for these two teams. Of course, if you're out there, we want to hear your thoughts. Again, head on over to Twitter, #heroesofthedorm.com, and vote for your favorite team. Are you rooting for Texas Tech, the underdogs, or are you going for Washington, the returning team from last year? Who do you think's going to win? What do you think, Tim? I still am my favorite. I would like to see Texas Tech pull
Yeah,
back.
I think I'm going with Washington.
Yeah?
That game in number 2, it seems like they have it down. They understand what they need to do, and they can put Texas Tech behind, and Texas Tech will make a couple mistakes here that they can actually punish. So, moving into it, Texas Tech versus Washington. On the far left, Kevin's choice to get out of this and move to the Super 16. Kevin, please introduce us.
Billy Gruff. I keep saying that wrong. Billy Gruff. I'm going to just change their name.
Let's call him BGG.
Add the GR in there. Aloe on Li Ming, Diamond Neil on Thrall, Pleb Joe, Brightwing, Super Boss Boy, ETC, and Takedown on Zul with that incredible poison damage. And on the right side.
All right, we got I, Shiny, the team captain, followed up by Oshogun and Oshoyu, Terror, and Sharsnik rounding out the roster. My pick to get out of here and move on to the Super 16. 3 members will be heading down to the bottom lane.
Okay, so the beginnings of these games. Oftentimes we will see roaming packs looking for pickups, heroes out of position, and here right now we're seeing Washington with an aggressive setup. The Muradin for the stun, the Jaina for the burst. Will Texas Tech allow them an opportunity to capitalize on that? And they're looking for their own pick here. Terror in the mid lane, just setting up to soak experience. Takedown, showing himself out of the bush there, and just going to begin the XP game.
Having 3 people on the bottom, they have not shown themselves yet. Shogun and Shoyu looking for this Li Ming here. She has not used teleport yet, so she might be able to get away from this area. However, we do have more members coming down for Texas Tech, and Shogun and Shoyu are in a scenario where they could be locked down. Shoyu trying to walk around, hoping they have not been spotted yet. Sharsnik trying to help out. But remember, Texas Tech has not seen these two yet.
Yeah, totally.
They have no idea where Muradin and Jaina is.
They haven't shown themselves, and it looks like we do see on the side of Texas Tech them going in that 4-man roam between mid and bottom. And here we go. They have shown themselves and just settling back into a pretty normal rhythm. Will they go that 4-man route? It looks like they have parked Rhaegar there, so they're going more of a 1-1-3 situation here on Sky Temple. Of course, Temple's activating in just a few moments here in the top and the bottom. Will we see the 1-1 trade as we settle in? We tend to see that as both teams just kind of not quite ready for those hard engages in the early game, but maybe they're going to make some aggressive moves here in the early game. Takedown continuing to soak experience, use his trait as well to just add more pushing power. And here it is, the center, Sky Temple, zoning out happening here by Texas Tech against Washington, grouping up. Of course, they don't have the vision there in the top. It does belong to Washington right now, which can work to their favor, but it looks like they're just going to settle in on the top, shrine themselves, excuse me, temple. That is hard. Shrine, temple?
Yeah, there's a couple variations, isn't there? Yeah,
temple.
Texas Tech, I want to see be really aggressive in these scenarios just because of their early game being so strong. With Brightwing being available, they can really pretty much just negate Greymane if he wants to go in for a full and engage. So you know, until Polymorph gets used, Greymane's thinking about not engaging until he sees that ability pop. So with that power being available at Texas Tech, I want to see the ETC and the Zul walking into scenarios where they can add whatever they can here. And you saw that in the middle of the map. All 5 of them rotated in, trying to find a scenario where they could fight. Found out they could not, and then they just spread out.
ETC's Zul trying to converge on the Sonya in the bottom lane. Are they getting damage done on her? It looks like she is going to retreat. She is able to survive. She taps the well for the health. But those towers have already lost a lot of ammo, all their ammo in fact, and they are going to continue to put pressure here. Zul so strong, going to go ahead and get more XP. They continue to inch further and further ahead. But look at this. Washington themselves able to already get their first fort down here and almost close in exchange as well here for Texas Tech. Blue team setting up back in a 4-man pack here in the mid lane. And, you know, nice play by both of them. Aggressive pushing going on out of both of these teams.
Yeah, Greymane and Jaina were really able to push in that lane, and with the aid of the Temple, allowing them to kind of shred down that top fort, they were able to pick it off pretty quickly, and you see the result for that. They're a little bit ahead in experience. But nothing that's not manageable here for Texas Tech as long as they're not throwing away any deaths here. We see them constantly rotating though, trying to keep up their own pressure. And what they're doing here with this rotation between the mid lane and the bottom lane is they're putting so many minions on the opposing force that they're actually draining the turret ammo. We saw that earlier, and that's why they were able to get the turrets for free or on the right side. And they're doing that in the middle as well. Getting 4 skeletons in is an extra 8 shots that you get shredded on that turret.
Yeah, the Zul power there. He basically takes minions away from his opponents and builds them and puts them on his side as a result of his trait. There you see him, his skeletal minions working in his favor. They tank damage from the towers and just gets even more value out of the standard map minions that are pushing for you. And there we see them starting to ping mercenary camps, ready to capture them, get them pushing in their favor right now. Red team trying to just clear it up as well as spawning their own siege giants into the bottom lane.
All right, something to know is Brightwing is going full Z build. She's not getting cleanse. It's very, very hard for Brightwing to make the decision to go cleanse over this shield build. It's so powerful for engages. If you call out on the map, hey, I'm getting pretty low, Brightwing, please come help me. It can be a lifesaver. So she's decided to go to forgo cleanse, which could be fine here. Murden's got Stormbolt, but for the most part, a lot of the scenarios here won't really dictate that they need cleanse if they play it correctly.
Rhaegar did pick up cleanse though, which is a very smart option on the part of Washington to go against the Zul. Of course, you know, a Bone Prison from Zul is easily telegraphed. ESPN2. We are going to be doing that. Telegraphed so he could get the cleanse off early, and so we'll be watching Rhaegar to make the plays there, keeping his teammates safe. And here is that bottom shrine right now. Texas Tech has control. Washington wants to have none of it. And look at that power slide there. Aggressive on Shiny. He does have to back away. There goes the Bone Prison. He does get out, though.
Oh, my gosh, that Blizzard wit. Destructive town on top of Texas Tech. Fights going down. Takedown in trouble as well. He may fall victim here to Shiny. Shiny goes a little bit too aggressive. Can't fault him though. The bloodlust was huge, but Aloe is still alive. Now is resetting her tray here. She's getting that critical takedowns here. Shogun in trouble as well. Sharsnik taking damage at the same time. And Shiny really set this entire fight up for Texas Tech to kind of snowball into their own victory here. Sharsnik still in trouble. Aloe though a little bit low on actual mana. 4 people go down for Washington. That was a fight that was in the favor of Washington. Shiny got too aggressive, and suddenly Texas Tech turned it around just because of Li Ming.
Yeah, and we don't always see in this early game
that
teams
Blizzard
just going so ham. Yeah, that Blizzard was huge. Here we see the Greymane just getting so hungry. He wants to get the takedowns, goes for it, and here's the counter push now by Texas Tech as they fully capitalize on the retreating team for Washington. They just go, and the resets for Li Ming start to add up. Damage. But yeah, interesting to see that happen all before heroics have even been picked up. They just decided to continue opportunity to go get it.
You have to be careful. If you're playing Greymane, you have to know that you're going to get that takedown, especially with Texas Tech being able to just kind of turn that around so quickly because we have a couple turret shots. Turrets hurt, man. Don't walk into them. You know, let's go back to Kevin's advice in game number 1. Don't die, or it will cost you a huge team fight, and that happened there for Texas
Actually, I
Tech.
think that was your advice. I just caught
No, that was all
it
you,
and
man.
amplified it. I'm evangelizing for you because I do believe in it. I believe in it.
You're
with all
my
heart.
amplified damage on Bone Prism at level 16. That's what you are. You're helping me out. Nice job, man. All right, well, Washington and Texas Tech are now above level 10. They both have their heroics. In terms of actual infrastructure, we have Texas Tech just a tad bit ahead. Also experience here as they've killed the middle fort and the bottom fort.
Yep, absolutely, and they are still continuing to roam together as a team right now, which is a nice move on their part. They know that they could get picked off if they're out of position. That we saw the burst damage from Blizzard coming out of Jaina so strong, and of course there's the Sundering. They want to pick off this nice move. They got Greymane out of the fight. That is always a leg up. If they can catch him out of position from his team, take him out, he's such a huge source of damage for them and poke for their team. So nice move by them to capitalize on it, spend a heroic, get the kill.
Yeah, Shiny's going to need to calm down a little bit here as he's starting to have a really bad game here. He's got a couple deaths now on his side of the map here. It's really, really hard against his team. In fact, he's the only deaths. Only deaths for his team. Let's see here. Let me just go ahead and check, make sure I'm speaking that correctly. But yeah, he needs to be a little bit careful here. He's being a little bit over-aggressive on Greymane, and Greymane has no self-sustain and will get picked off.
Mosh Pit here coming out, trying to get some pickups here for Texas Tech, and there goes the Disintegrate. They do take out Rhaegar super early in this fight right now. Health bars are low on the side of Texas Tech. Here comes the Brightwing with the phase. She does get out of there, and right now, Hot Dog's on the retreat, but are they going to group up?
Texas is actually in a really odd spot here. They wedge between a fort and a keep and 4 members of Washington. They're going to finally just go in for the engagement here, take down trying to grab what they can, but Aloe has fallen, and Aloe is the main reason you want to be in these team fights. Diamond Neil trying to run away, and Shiny making a play here, going to try and just hold his teammate in and be a little bit careful there. Now he can engage. There we go. That's the play we needed from Washington. However, Texas Tech should not be throwing the game like that.
Wow, full team wipe there in the favor of Washington. I think that was exactly what you were saying. What weird positioning out of them. They were caught against a tower, and the team itself, like, they really had nowhere to go, and you saw them just trying to figure out, how do we get out of here with our lives? In fact, probably asking themselves, how in the world did we even get in this situation?
Yeah. There are moments in the game where adrenaline kind of gets the best of you. You're winning team fights. You feel like you're kind of in God mode, if you will. But you know, you got to be a little bit careful there and get a reality check sometimes. And Washington definitely gave reality check to Texas Tech.
Yeah, for sure, and that gives Washington the opportunity to camp up here on both temples that have spawned, the bottom and the middle. They do kind of back away from that bottom one, favoring the middle control, which is a nice move by their part. If there's going to be a team fight, you want it to happen in that middle shrine. That is the better one. You can see things a little bit better. You have the advantage of the watchtower supporting you with the control. So they are going to go ahead and give up that bottom shrine fort to Texas Tech and basically continue to push while they do have map control. They are going to get this fort here in the mid lane, get full value out of the shrine in the middle for them, and they're continuing to rotate, take the aggressive merc camps on the side of their enemy right now. Very nice work by them to just capitalize on every opportunity.
Washington really starting to get to a point where they're feeling a little bit confident on their map rotations now, grabbing the mercenaries in the top left corner, and we do see that there's actually a poll there, Kevin.
Yeah, 35% of you voting for Texas Tech. We do see that slowly begin to inch up, and they are earning their respect, I suppose. Are they going to take it out, though, here in this rubber match? 1-1, Texas Tech, Washington. It's all on the table for both of these teams. They're flirting with the boss.
That had to be a mistake.
Yeah.
Or it was A, trying to get Washington to go in for an engage, so they're just getting the boss to start fighting, because if the boss will actually aggro on whoever's close.
Sure.
So if Washington tried to go in for an engage, the boss would start hitting them instead of Texas Tech.
Yep, they are still trying to look like they're baiting out an engagement here from Washington, but Washington is not interested. They are ready to continue to push. They're going for that aggressive siege camp, it looks like. Yep, parking up there in the lower right-hand corner.
Oh,
we do see
right
the
now.
siege camps working. Here comes the fight right now.
Sonya's not here.
Yeah, he got polymorphed, and there goes the Disintegrate out, stunned out on the Zool, and just positioning out the back. There comes the Mosh Pit here. Ancestral Healing does go out on Murden. There's the Poison Nova damage, just wrecking the confidence, but they're still pushing forward. Here comes the kills. One kill for Washington. So many health bars down here for Texas Tech. They got to get back, but they're losing even more heroes. 3 heroes down, 4 heroes down. That is a full team wipe for Washington as they have all of the momentum now. This gives them so much opportunity. Are they going to go for the boss? Are they going to go for more merc camps? They have full control of the map here for a whole nother 20 seconds.
Wow, that was a fight that Texas Tech actually had in the bag, but unfortunately the power slide into Mosh Pit was a little bit too late on Rhaegar. Rhaegar getting off the Ancestral Healing was just enough to get Washington set up as Sonya transitioned down and got into the fight. Meanwhile, the entire time in the top lane, this minion mercenary ball of death keeps pushing in, taking out whatever they can. Now a boss available here for Washington. They're ahead 16-14. Everything is going into the favor here of the team.
Look at this fight here coming out. The Poison Nova doing damage on Washington, but they don't care. Look at Shiny. Yeah, absolutely. He's coming in from around the side. There he goes, diving in for the kills here on the side, the flanks. You gotta know where the teammates are, your opposing enemies. You have to keep that up on comms. Shiny for the kill there, for the full team wipe, closing it out. And here we see the Boss pushing in the bottom lane. He does take out this fort, continuing to push. And of course, the opposing members of Washington are just back, cleaning things up, getting the battleground looking red for them on all sides, all fronts, and pushing again in the bottom lane, following their boss.
I want to toss a little praise over to Shiny. Again, we called him out a little bit in the early game, or I did anyways, for taking so many deaths and trying to be a little bit too bloodlusty by taking out members that he could, and it cost a few deaths that really cost his team a few team fights. There, he played a little bit safer there and really made sure that he had the engage that he needed to actually win that team fight.
Now, Texas Tech is on the back foot. They have to get to level 16, get that next talent tier, so they're going to go clear out these minion waves, get the experience for them. They can't even really think about a full team fight yet until they round the corner on 16. Meanwhile, Washington taking every opportunity to push their advantage. Gonna get more towers, gonna get more experience, pushing towards level 20. Siege Giants pushing in the bottom lane. Super Boss gonna just work to clean that up. And here we see Texas Tech trying to get some advantage out of the top temple. Meanwhile, Washington on the bottom temple, shelling away on the keeps. We are seeing keep damage here. If they can get these keeps down, we have bigger, more powerful minions pushing in the lane. It's all starting to raise the stakes here as we move towards the late game.
All right, Texas Tech has gotten the major talent that they wanted to amplify damage at level 16. This will allow for them to make the calls that they've been needing to do the shot calls and, of course, take down whoever is in their way. Even Murden has a hard time dealing with that, as it's 25% damage amplified by anyone that hits that target that is actually entrapped by the Bone Prison. Super Boss Guy setting up to break into this bush.
Yep, absolutely. Both teams setting up. We're getting more value still out of this top shrine for Washington. And look, Texas Tech wants to have none of it. They want to get them off before those powerful last hits happen on this shrine. Sharsnik there waiting in a little bit. Both teams trying to position correctly. Super Boss Guy saying, we want the rest of the hits on these towers. You cannot have them. You cannot have our keep. You almost got it down, but they do not have it. Here comes the slide then. Wow, nice control there by Washington on so many heroes. Health bars dropping. One hero goes down. ETC is out of the fight, and here comes Sonya with the pressure from Whirlwind. And there goes 3 heroes down from Billy Goat Gruff on the Texas Tech side, and they have all the momentum working for them. Washington is so happy to get it back. They are pushing. They are going to basically get another keep potentially off of this.
Starstic seems to be a major team player for Washington. There he showed up and really got in there, caught Zul out, helped out with the damage, and then from there, Shiny helped out in the damage with Jaina, bringing in the Blizzard, and that was an immediate kill there. They then followed up, taking out ETC and then Leeming. So Zul did get away, but Thrall getting picked off. It's just kind of a punishing situation where Zul's being up so front there. You see the team start to focus him. Then when Zul starts to retreat, they change their mindset and start to take a detour and jump on someone that's really, really squishy going up too far. And in this case, it was Thrall, ETC, and Leeming.
All right, so blue team having to clean things up in the top lane. Meanwhile, Washington just going to go get the remaining Merc camp that is ready to be working for them right now. Incur that for their support in that bottom lane. And look at that. The minions in the bottom lane are so far pushed out. They're going to be on the core soon, especially with the support of these Mercs, if Texas Tech cannot address it now. But they are there. There is the catapult minions. Those are those powerful ones that happen as soon as keeps fall. They push, they deal so much damage, and you know Texas Tech is on it. They clear out the wave. That's going to work for them. It's going to set things back, give them a little bit of breathing space as they move towards level 20.
Yeah, Washington at first thought they only saw 3 people down there soaking that lane, so they assumed that they could get in there really quick and do a 5v3. But once the other 4 and 5th members showed up, they decided to pull back and play the safe fake, get to 20, as you were mentioning, Kevin. It's really such a power play. Although ETC is out of position, he will have a power slide, but you see Shiny actually not jumping on him quite yet as he wants to help out. The Sun Ring is going to be helpful. Brightwing's coming in, but it's a little bit too late. Takedown does get a huge poison nova. This is a 4v5 though. Sharsnake taking damage. Ancestor healing does go off. Shiny poking from the right side as well. 2 members down for Texas Tech. They need to get away. If they lose one more, this will be game as Washington could push in.
And this is just the worst situation here for Washington. that one positional mistake by ETC is going to cost them the game, cost them the tournament. They're trying to put up damage here by Li Ning. She's trying to hold off the bleeding, but I do not think they can stop this. Washington is going to steamroll all the way to victory here in the round of 32. Congratulations to them. They will move on here in this tournament to the round of 16. Texas Tech will fall, and that will be the end of their tournament life.
Oh man, and for Super Boss Guy, man, that's gotta feel really, really horrible, unfortunately. He's just down there trying to still experience, get his team back in the game, and he just barely gets caught out, and that did cost him the game. So very, very unfortunate. But Texas Tech, you had a great run. You took out the #1 seed, Waterloo, in the A bracket, so well done by you guys. And of course, you took Washington, who is a team that I am starting to really, really cheer for, all the way to game #3. Great job, guys.
Great play from you guys. And yes, it just goes to show you that those little mistakes, especially as you inch ever closer to the late game, they mean the world. They can cost you everything. And even though you feel like you're close, that you have a good grip on things, it can slip out of your fingers so quickly in Here's the Storm. So great play by them. We do see Washington advance into the round of 16. So great job by them. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game. Here we see Washington doing work, basically cornering, so to speak, the Texas Tech team against the wall here. They were in an advanced position, probably too far pushed out, not probably, definitely too far pushed out in the top lane there. And here we see continued team fighting from Washington. Here's that aggressive flank here coming from iShiny here on the Greymane. You see him dive through, get those final kills, close things out for that team fight in the mid game. That was a full team wipe in favor of iShiny. We saw him give some early deaths away, you know, basically feeding towards Texas Tech, but he turned it around, really came in and became a very valuable resource in that late game team fighting.
And again, I totally forgot about that fight between the Fort and the Key. That was a game changer.
Yeah.
We actually had Texas Tech ahead in that game. They felt like they were really taking their plays and taking the advantages and always making safe plays that, of course, further them toward their ultimate goal of killing the core. But diving between a Fort and a Keep is a huge mistake if you are not sure you can take somebody out, and they didn't do just enough to be able to get that to work out for them, and that turned the tide of the game. You saw Washington really just kind of dominating since then.
Yeah, it's one thing for a single hero to just try to go for that one pick or something like that, but for your whole team to move out.
I mean, at least they did it together as a team,
yeah,
right? Let's go,
right.
team.
Where they go one, they go all out.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that will spell the end of the tournament life for Texas Tech. We saw that incredible upset coming in the round of 64 by them, so great job on their play to get as far as they did. They shook up and basically turned a lot of heads. We're all watching you guys. We're going to be looking for your play next year as we move into 2017. We'll see what you can do as a team in Here's the Storm, so great work. And here, let's take a look at the upcoming match. We do have one final match coming your way. Georgia Tech, we casted their games yesterday, 8th Street West. They're going to be going up against Minnesota Banana Cabana. On behalf of Trikslyr, my name is Cloaken. This has been an incredible round of 32 for us. Thanks for being here with us. Have a good one. Jake and Gilly will be right back.